Hello there again, everybody. This is going to be Izzet Prowess League number 2, or it might be 3. I honestly don't remember if I played a Prowess League many months ago, but I think I might have. So this is 2 or 3. Just got off the back of a pretty decent finish in our most recent league, literally just a few minutes ago. I'm gonna run it back. A few changes that we made though. We took out the 2 Vapor Snags for 2 copies of Seal of Fire, and we did this in order to attempt to support Dragon's Rage Channeler, which is one of the newer, flashier cards for Modern Horizons 2. So I'll have it up here for a few moments so y'all get a chance to read it. And another way that we've attempted to support this card is I've taken out a basic mountain to make room for another fetch land, because obviously we want to power up the Delirium more often than not, so playing another fetch to put another land to the yard seems like a pretty common sense thing to do. We're not super confident that we'll be able to turn on the ability super easily, but I think it won't be super difficult. I guess along those lines, we actually did make another change. There aren't very many sorceries in the deck. In fact, last league we only played four iterations. We were playing 3 Opt over 3 Serum Visions, but having the Channeler, I think upping the sorcery count, also just a way to hopefully turn this on more reliably. So yeah, so I guess we actually made a small handful of changes. We played another fetch, Serum Visions instead of Opt, Seal of Fire instead of Vapor Snag, and then Channeler instead of Soulscar Mage. So the reason I replaced Soulscar Mage over something like Monastery Swiftspear is the static ability on Soulscar Mage to have a replacement effect of damage to minus counters feels pretty important when the format is saturated with just like big heavy hitters, things that Lightning Bolt decks, things that where the primary sorcery removal is something like Lightning Bolt wouldn't usually be able to kill. So like if you're trying to kill a Death Shadow, you're trying to kill a Tarmogoyf, you can at least shrink it so that your own stuff can attack past it. But there just really isn't a whole lot of Tarmogoyf or Shadow type threats right now. So I think the non haste on Soulscar makes it a little bit worse than Swiftspear. So in an attempt to squeeze in threats, or to squeeze in the Channeler, I kind of had to cut something, and it was Soulscar Mage for the theoretical reasons that I've just outlined. And then I guess something to point out is we're playing 2 copies of Murktide Regent. We played these last league, but I want to bring it up just because, again, it's a new flashy card. And it did do very well. We won a game because of it in the last league, and in a couple other games in that last league. It was just a very solid threat that didn't really get stuck at hand. We do a pretty good job at filling our own graveyard. It might be a slight nombo with Dragon's Rage Channeler. We'll have to be careful of that. But even Dragon's Rage Channeler Surveilling is kind of a subtle synergy with Delve. So maybe not that much of a nombo after all. We'll just have to wait and see. But not getting Fatal Pushed is a big plus. It's one of the reasons why I think Blue-Red Prowess is strong, at least compared to Red Prowess. Because like the reason to play blue is you have to play these threats that don't get Fatal Pushed. And Fatal Push is obviously a very common card at the moment. So let's briefly look at the modern metagame breakdown. This is the most recent month's worth of stuff. But again, Modern Horizons 2 has been out for only a little bit over a week now, so I'll put it on the 7-day so y'all can see what's been happening more recently, because again, Modern Horizons has only been out for a week. So this is what the top 15 in the past week is looking like on 6/17/21. And let's just jump into it. Got to, ooh, spoilers, don't look. Don't look, spoilers. Alright, so here's the deck. Let's jam it. Doomwig with a 5-0? I would have never guessed. It's been a week. Didn't you like back to back 5-0 with something? I think it was like the Feasting Troll King deck, but he was playing Urza as well. I think he like 10-0'd in a night. Could be wrong. You barely watch him? He's one of the people that I will watch. There are not very many streamers I follow. I think like I frequent like 3 or 4 different people, and then like kind of like scattered watch probably like another 5 or 6. I don't have a lot of extra time, or I guess time where I'm able to like watch in the background. So a lot of the time that I do have extra, I like to spend making my own content. So I don't have a lot of time to just watch. Mainly watch me and a guy called Keno Yoguro. Alright, well, I'll have to find out who that is so I can blackmail them so they stop streaming so I can be the only one, right? That's how that works. You watch Yama, Doom, Aspiring. Yeah, those are all streamers that I enjoy. Please God, no, you love that dude. I'll have to give him a look. I've never actually heard that name before, but if you're saying they're great, I'll give them a try. Hey, we won the die roll. Yeah, I mean, we've got turn 1 Channeler, and we've got Serum Visions to try to find some lands. Our land situation, obviously, on the painful side. I could just Serum Visions first in an attempt to just find the land the hard way, but not getting a threat down feels kind of loose. Mainly does meme decks like that on YouTube. I mean, that's fun to watch too. I love me a good meme. Speaking of meme, how about a Fiery Islet Mirror? Can we just hit a land though? Oh, boo. So if I bolt in response, I could just bolt in response in an attempt to just scry land to the top that way. If we put the land to the top, we can just play another Channeler, but alternatively we can just play a Channeler the hard way. I'm just gonna not respond. If we draw a land, excellent. Another Channeler. All right, well, I'm gonna play another Channeler. Maybe we just have an actual mirror. I guess Storm may play Islet, but not as likely Bolt in the main deck. You know, it looks like we might just have a mirror. Okay, maybe not a mirror. Maybe just Delver? Yeah, okay, so Delver. Land? No! Alright, so now I do want to kill this Delver, and I want to find a land, so now I think I will respond in order to surveil. Graveyard. Can we draw a land, please? Oh, man. So we've got creature, instant, sorcery. So any fetch land just makes our next Channeler a 3/3. So, I mean, Serum Vision's being better than Opt here. In terms of turning Channeler on. Opt would be better in terms of finding our land now as opposed to next turn. Another Delver. Land? Oof. So we could just bolt that, but at this point I'm kind of getting desperate. I could Channeler again, but that's obviously a lot weaker to just more removal. Let's try to hit it here. Because if I find a red source, which is every land in the deck, I can still bolt the Delver. You gonna force this? That would be funny. Alright. Pitching Subtlety. I respect it. I mean, they're low on cards now. If we can just kill this Delver, maybe we're just at a good old-fashioned stalemate where I have more resources. Unholy Heat. Alright, well that doesn't interact with Lightning Bolt. Oh, did you get a Murktide? Murktide's gonna be rough. Yeah, so their card is Unholy Heat now. Oof, yeah, we just can't hit it. Alright, we're dead. I mean, I think I'm supposed to keep that hand, especially in the dark. But, I mean, we just didn't get there. Alright, so blue, red, Delver. Spell Pierce feels like it's going to have some utility. Vapor Snag also seems good for Murktide purposes. We don't really have a way to deal with Murktide otherwise. I don't think Reveler is great. Soul Guide Lantern is interesting. They're probably playing Snapcaster. We can get rid of some targets. It's not great versus Murktide though, because like, I guess like it can prevent a Murktide, but we don't actually get a card off of preventing it. There's not even a guarantee they've got it. Let's see what we want to take out. We're on the play here. So Lava Dart doesn't actually kill a lot unless they're playing something like Young Pyromancer. I guess it kills unflipped Delvers. I mean, the cards in our deck still just seem great. I'm keeping Mutagenic Growth to protect actual everything. They're a Lightning Bolt deck. There's just not a lot that I'm actually wanting to cut here. I think I'm not bringing in Lantern, but I do think I want to bring in these four. I guess we're on the play. I guess Lava Dart isn't fantastic. Just about everything else I'm wanting to keep, though. I've got to make cuts somewhere. I guess, is it just another Dart? It seems weird, but there's not a lot of X1s. Maybe I cut a Sprite Dragon just because it's relatively fragile, and they do have lots of removal spells in the deck. I don't want to cut another creature, though. Maybe it's just another Lava Dart. Like, this card just does not seem that high impact. Let's try that. We'll keep one Dart. Like, it's hard to board in a lot of cards without just diluting the deck. Yeah. We can get basic Mountain off of the Mire. Play our Swift Spear. So I'm going to attempt to keep the Vapor Snag for potential Murktide Regents. And I'm not going to yield through turn because I don't want them to know that I don't have a Mutagenic Growth. I guess Unholy Heat is something I could maybe consider playing in this deck too, out of the board. If I'm worried about Goyfs or something. Tarn. Think I'm still just playing Islet. If they want to, I don't want to fetch end step anyway because I don't want to put Spell Pierce down. Seal first to get the trigger. Then I'll just hold up Spell Pierce attack for 2. It's nice having kind of an uncounterable source of damage in play for something like a Delver. Our issue now is we just don't have a backup threat. Would love to find one of those. Delver. Alright, well we can kill that easily. Soul Guide Lantern. Yep. There goes our land, but we can easily re-add a land via the Tarn. And we don't actually have to do this now because it's free whenever we do choose to do it. Stormwing. That's an interesting one. So I could get it into play if I choose to Vapor Snag the Delver. That's not great, but I also really want to get the Stormwing down. The issue with even that line is then I'm putting Spell Pierce down. And that's not something I'm super interested in either. I mean, if they play literally any threat, I could just Vapor Snag that, and if they try to protect it, I can Spell Pierce and then Stormwing, and that's applying a lot of pressure, but that means I'm not having Spell Pierce up now. And this is a pretty weak use of Vapor Snag when it's one of my only good answers to the Murktide Regent. So I think the line is still just attack. And then if they want to block, I'll let them. I can save the seal for like the next thing. And then I'll see if they reveal a card at the end of the upkeep. With the Delver, that is. So we get free info and expressive iteration. I guess that doesn't interact with the seal in any way, so I can let them continue through. Alright, I don't want to get hit. Let's just pop it. I doubt they're playing anything with raid, like a draw 2. It's less life to Spell Pierce than just get my Steam Vents tapped. This play is strong, assuming they don't have another land. It's also probably just strong otherwise, not letting them get the 2-for-1. Get his Steam Vents. So I guess like any cheap spell that would enable the Stormwing entity would be the ideal draw. I guess Manamorphose would be best case. Another Stormwing is not exactly what I had in mind. I could sacrifice the Islet, try to hit like a Manamorphose. Kind of like it. If I hit Manamorphose, I get a Stormwing entity down. I guess I could get a Sprite Dragon down. Obviously, like, a Bolt could kill either one, but that's kind of going to always be the case. They've got to be at least a little bit afraid of a mutagenic growth, right? Sure. I mean, we couldn't get a Stormwing in, but at least we've found another threat that we could play. I mean, if they just play a threat next turn, I might just snag it to get in a decent hit and play Entity. I may then be soft to Murktide, though. Subtlety. Alright, so they want us to put that on the top or bottom. I'm going to bottom it. Get in for 1. Alright, so this was kind of like a Force of Will. Unholy Heat with Delirium. Yep. Oh, is this the Murktide? So as long as their last cards aren't Force plus another blue card, we'll do well here. Because we get to Snagler thing and hopefully strand it in hand for some amount of time and then play a threat of our own. So we're hoping for no Force plus blue card. Cool. Oh, damn. I should have fetched first. I guess I could just not fetch. So we'll bottom, top. I'll still play it, but I just won't fetch. Yep. Subtlety's a cool one. What do they exile? A Tarn? So Vapor Snag did exactly what we intended it to do, which is nice. Alright, Tarn, yep. Lantern, sure. There goes Seal. So we've still got instant land creature. Delver. Alright. So not fetching because we know we've got Manamorphose on top. Guess we'll just lead on to fetch. There's only one more basic mountain in the deck. I don't think I'm shocking Steam Vents though. Let's just get the mountain. Then we'll make blue-red off of this. And I guess just hope to draw more interactive spells. We know we could get Murktide next turn. Sure. Blue. Red. Iteration. So their Murktide is going to only be a 4/4 as it's slated. So I may actually want to just save the iteration for next turn such that Stormwings can attack past it. That doesn't seem crazy to me. Let's just save it for next turn. We get to do some scrying. Mutagenic Growth. Wow. I think that's probably a keep. Put that on the bottom. Put that on the top. And then get in for 4. I guess I could have iterations now. And then exiled the Mutagenic Growth. And then cast it this turn. That would have had me putting them to 5. So, I mean, that would have had us with 2 lethal threats next turn, which does seem good. But if this flips and then they can block one for kind of free, maybe we start getting behind just any bolt. So that this feels safer. It did not reveal. Another Lantern, yeah, sure. Yeah, like these Lanterns just aren't that good against us. So if they Murktide here, they're trading. If we find actual any spell in our top 4, it's just good for us. I could sacrifice an Islet. I guess now it gets to be a 5/5. I think I'm not sacrificing Islet. We won't have any blue mana if we want to put like a Spell Pierce in hand or something, but maybe Spell Pierce just isn't even that good anymore. Yeah, so this is going to be a 5/5. So if I sacrifice Fiery Islet, I Expressive Iteration, I'm only guaranteed to have 1 more mana. I think I'm not doing it. We just want to find any spells, really. We knew that one was on top. So blue, red, iteration. Alright, so put one of them into hand. This one. Put one of them into the bottom of the library, that one. One of them into exile, that one. And this just shows them lethal, yeah. Because we're attacking for 2/7 power things. Cool. I guess like just had Mutagenic Growth anyway. But there's a world where we get blown out by force, right? Unless we show them multiple things. Like we're never losing to force there, but we don't have to show them we've got multiple things at least. They don't get information that we've kept in multiple Mutagenic Growths. It seems pretty marginal, like a marginal edge, but it's free, right? Like there's no way we're taking out iteration, so this is like less important information. Still don't think I'm wanting Soul Guide. Like, we saw them find all 3, and it was pretty bad. Like, it's only a preemptive answer to Murktide. Maybe just because they have like so many preemptive answers to Murktide. Sprite Dragon is better than Murktide, but I still feel like Murktide's going to be excellent, assuming we get to stick it. It's also one of our only good ways to compete with the opponent's Murktides. I think I'm just going to resubmit. You love the art on Murktide? Yeah, it's sick. I would expand it if Magic Online weren't loading. Yeah, this hand feels unmulliganable. Doesn't have any sideboard cards, but we really didn't bring in that much. You think it's the colors? I'm very colorblind, by the way. It's blue, right? It's on a blue card. Yeah, I can see blue moderately well. Alright, so this looks like Swift Spear attack. Oh. Do we just channel her? We can turn it on kind of quick. Yeah, I am colorblind. Red, green, and also blue, purple. So for sure playing Canal. I just don't know which 1-drop I'm playing. I feel like assuming they've got a Lightning Bolt, Channeler is actually a more valuable creature. So I'd be more incentivized to lead on the Swift Spear because it's more likely to die. And there's not like a whole lot that I'm like trying to scry for here. So I think I like just leading on Swift Spear. Where am I on the spectrum? You think it's how you measure it? It's not exactly a spectrum. There are many different forms of colorblindness. Like there are many like basically your eyes have rods and cones, where cones are for perceiving color and rods are perceiving light. So all of colorblindness is being cone deficient one way or another, and there are different kinds of cones for the different kinds of colors. So a lot of the time someone will be just deficient in one kind of cone, which is why they only confuse like 1 or 2 specific colors with specifically each other and not anything else. You can see colors, but you're blind. Fair. So they top bottom. Unholy Heat. Yep. We do not have a mutagenic growth. Manamorphose? Bam. Every time I ask for Manamorphose, we draw Stormwing. Maybe I should just stop asking. Alright, so if they've got another Unholy Heat, we're exposing the Channeler. Let's just get basic Mountain now. We can then cast a Channeler. And then if we actually surveil a different type, like that, we can just put it into the graveyard. And then if they try to Unholy Heat the Channeler, we could just seal to add the 4th type. Don't stop asking, just start asking for Stormwing. Sure. Yeah, myopia, that's the word for cone deficiency one way or another. I believe that's the word. Could be wrong. I think that's the word. Thought Scour yourself. Yeah. So we are still we're pretty soft to the Murktide from the opponent. The Stigmatism, I think that's how you write it. Yeah, I don't have a Stigmatism, but my girlfriend does. They've got the Murktide. How big is it? I'm right? Cool. Alright, how big is this thing? It's a 7/7? Jeez, it's kind of thick. We need a Vapor Snag. Does Steam Vents do anything for us? So if I attack, I could seal this, bolt this. That's trading 3 cards for Murktide, but honestly, I'm not really beating it otherwise. I could bolt them and then attempt to the thing is, if I bolt them, their block is free. So I think what I have to do here is just attack normally and then see if they block. There's no way they block, right? And then when they don't block, I just pop the seal to turn this on and push damage. And then I probably bolt them as well as shock play Stormwing. Assuming they don't have ways to interact with our multitude of creatures, we might be able to race this thing. Because this has to connect with us 3 times as is. If they've got a bolt, it's only twice. So yeah, I think I'm leading on attack. And then if they block, I'll throw everything I have at it. And if they don't block, I'm just throwing my damage at them. Alright, let's try to race. And then we've got enchantment, creature, land, instant. Another seal on top. So we're hitting them. This bolt is putting them to 9. This is hitting them down to 6. If I cast Stormwing here, the Seal of Fire is lethal if they don't have another flying blocker. I'll top it. We've got Serum Visions on top after that. It's pretty close. So remember, this has to attack now. I definitely want the seal. I'm not super confident about the Serum Visions. I think I'm just going to bottom it in hopes of finding more burn spells, to be honest. I mean, it'll help find burn spells, but so will Iteration. So let's bottom that, top this. Say go. It was like their attacks now are not free.
Did you take his bandage?
Did not.
His hand could be numb.
Thought Scour me. Because they know we put cards on top. That makes sense. Alright, I mean, their attack is not free. Yeah, they just straight can't attack. We do an Iteration. I think I'm going to Iteration first. Because, like, remember, this has to attack. So this kind of has to attack, too. Let's just lead here. Get my triggers. Oh, there's the snag? Yeah, that feels like I've got to keep it. Put on top. Yield to that. I guess they could Thought Scour me again now that I've kept on top. Which is maybe what they're thinking about. I guess they're thinking about lightning bolting or not. Alright, so let's not misclick this time. Do we need to change the border on the face cam to Monastery Swift Spear now? That could be funny. Alright, so I guess we'll bottom this. I mean, short of a Force of Negation, they just die here. Oh, wow, this is like the nut perfect, right? Well, I guess not the nut perfect. So put one of them into hand. Well, we're casting snag no matter what, so let's put the bolt to hand, right? Put one of them into hand, the bolt. Put one of them onto the bottom of the library, Arid Mesa. One of them into exile, snag. Snag. Sick. So Channeler looked good there. It did some filtering. It attacked for some chunks. I mean, it was definitely, I think... Well, not definitely. So Soulscar would have actually been good there as well, right? Because it would have made their Murktide Regent significantly smaller by just putting minus counters. So like they were both serviceable there. Although while both were serviceable, Channeler hit for more. Or maybe not even the case, right? We only attacked like once more. But for like so like we had an attack for 1 and then we had an attack for 3. So I mean maybe Soulscar would have actually just been better in that spot. Short of the Surveil acting as a filter. You feel like making this deck but don't want to spend money in COVID-19 times? That is a fair concern. I mean, I think this deck is good enough to the point where it's just gonna kind of be good forever. I mean, the power level is certainly there. It's resilient and powerful. You're not even updating Black Green X. Yeah, pretty much me either. I really haven't purchased cards in a long while. I've got a couple friends who are also vaccinated, and we like meet up for some casual stuff, but we don't like play competitively with each other. They recently got me into Canadian Highlander, which is, if you haven't heard, a pretty sick format. It's literally just 100 card singleton, but you each start at 20. There's no commander. And there's a points list, and everything is legal, including Power 9. But cards are worth a certain amount of cards are worth a certain amount of points, and you can't go over 10 points. Sobs and Bindgrists and Voidwalker, fair enough. More lands, not what we wanted to see. I guess we'll just play a seal here. Maybe it's even worth it to just hold the seal because it's a spell for Sprite Dragon. Between Channeler and Regent, have I thought about Thought Scour? It's possible. There's not really room for a lot of cantrips, and I think Serum Visions might just still be better because it's a sorcery, and we don't play sorceries other than Iteration otherwise. So we're playing against Esper. Let's get Steam Vents. Have I decided if Grist is a Jund staple, Rock staple, or neither? I think it's quite good in Jund. I've been very happy with it out of Jund. I don't know if it's a staple, but I do think it's very good. It doesn't solve any of the problems that Jund has. It's like Grist is predominantly a card that's main purpose is to grind, and like Jund has never had a super hard time grinding. But I do think it grinds better than some of the options we already have. So while it doesn't solve any issues, I don't think it's worth just dismissing. And I'll cast Serum Visions here. I can't Serum Visions and Storming in the same turn anyway. These cards are good though. So if they Vindicate me again on this, I'm going to be out of a blue source. I guess I've got the Manamorphose to still just cast the Stormwing off of. So I think I'm just going to bottom Spire Bluff, top the Manamorphose. So bottom, top. So I'll hold up Lightning Bolt. Feels great in the Yogg deck. Yeah, the Yogg deck is sick. I like the Yogg deck. But is Grist better than our Lord Bob? They do something very different. Explosives for 1. Remind me to pop Seal if they ever pop their explosives. Alright, I guess we're leading here. I guess it's better to... No, I don't have any blue spells. I actually do. I play Serum Vision. So I should probably just Manamorphose off of Mountains. I guess it's worse if I draw a Spire Bluff Canal. No, let's just do this. Make blue red. Drew Dart. Stormwing. Bolt and Iteration. I mean, they're so high on life that I feel like the main thing I need to be doing here is digging for more threats. And iteration does do that, but I've already got an iteration, and if they vindicate my blue source, I'm going to be stuck with iterations. I think I'm just bottoming both. I mean, if they've got vindicate, they're pretty likely to just go after the Stormwing anyway. But I mean, I think I want to spend mana on casting spells. I think I'm just bottoming both. For sure bottoming this. This card I'm not sure about. That's bottom. Could be wrong. Play my mountain. I mean, Esper plays lots of fatal pushes, so I'm glad my threat is Stormwing. This is one of the reasons why the blue splash, I think, is worth it. Is this that new Esper Walker? Okay, and it is Vindicate, and they are going after the Stormwing. Yeah. They do kind of have their threat already, so maybe I have to pair Bolt and Dart to kill that. Something to keep an eye out for. Ooh, Channeler. That gets blown up by the explosives, unfortunately. If I Channeler before using Expressive Iteration, then I can get that extra Surveil. But if I hit like a Stormwing and a land, I won't be able to Stormwing. So I think I still want to just bypass the Surveil this one time. We did find a threat. It's another thing that gets explosived. And then, so I guess I'm putting Swift Spear to hand, Arid Mesa into exile. Put one into hand, Swift Spear. Put one of them into the bottom, Lava Dart. Put this in exile. Oh, hold up. I don't have another red source. I'm playing 2 mountains, 2 steam vents. I mean, they don't know that. And then I think the Channeler is worth more than the Swift Spear. So I'll play the Swift Spear into the explosives. They're just going to save a life here, I guess. I don't think this one life is worth it. Yeah. I hope they pop the explosives now, because I really want to get this Channeler down. There's a lot that they could do that'd be really bad for me. Kaya's Guile's on towards the top of the list. Teferi is towards the top of the list. Other steam vents right here. I mean, they're getting a little flooded, which is good for me. Maybe if I start bolting them, I could make them want to use the explosives. Iteration's a good pickup. I guess we just lead there. Get some prowess triggering going. Yep. Oh, I forgot to sacrifice the seal. I said that I should remember to sacrifice it, then I just forgot. Yeah, I just lost 2 damage for no reason. Alright, well, we found red sources. Put one to hand. Bolt. One into the bottom. Oops. So yeah, they should be at 16. Pretty good at saying that I'm going to do something, then just completely forgetting that I said I was going to do it. Alright, they are on nothing. They've got Colonnade. I mean, we're also on nothing. Is it just Colonnade time? Yep. So, I mean, if they attack again next turn, I've got the option of Lightning Bolting plus Lava Darting. Which is not the ideal way to use Burn, but I'll do it. Completely unrelated question. How in the name of God is a 6/3 Samus Aran going to turn into a ball? I don't know. Oh, you're talking about like the video game character Samus, like Metroid? Not a clue. Ooh, that was good. So I mean, I have to bolt the opponent in order to be able to do that. You're not playing Metroid, not at all. So I guess I actually can do it all, right? If I Lava Dart them, because then I can keep one mana available to bolt and then sacrifice for a Lava Dart. So if I Lava Dart, this works. Gotta go lore hunting now. Alright, Stormwing. Bolt and a Channeler. Well, I'm definitely keeping the Channeler. I think I just need to find more threats for when they inevitably answer the ones that I have. So let's bottom, Bolt, top a Channeler. Reddit. What does Reddit say? You'll have to let me know. You got me curious. Got another Vindicate. Brutal. Alright, well, I mean, we've got another threat just on top. Sooner or later, you will run out of Vindicates. Aaron's power suit technology remains a mystery, especially the curious morph ball function. All attempts at duplicating it have ended in disaster. 4 test subjects were horribly broken and twisted when they engaged our morph ball prototype. Science team wisely decided to move on afterward. That's excellent. Alright, so we've got a channeler on top. The opponent's got to have, like, a lot of really good draws. Like, Kaya's Guile's got to be absurd. Teferi's have got to be absurd. Teferi's, because there's more than one that I'm worried about. Even Jace the Mind Sculptor. Like, literal any of their win conditions are gotta be pretty bad for me. Theory so far, she turns into an energy, which is how it looks in the Prime games. The others that are Chozo DNA help somehow. I don't know what Chozo is. They're stealing. I guess I have to bolt it. I'll bolt it now so I get the Surveil. Like, it's better than letting them have it. Just digging for another threat here. That's not another threat. Alright, we are still at parity. But their average draw has to be so much stronger than our own. Headcanon. She breaks every bone in her body, and the suit jams everything back into place. Yikes. That feels like it hurts. Not even attacking with Colony. I guess they realize that it dies to Bolt. Iteration's a good find. Assuming they haven't found the counter. I mean, if they find lands, they're probably just holding at least one at a time to bluff something. Oh, Cryptic is bad. Yeah, that's bad. Odds are decent you're going to continue looking into it. Into Opt. They bottomed with it, though. Thank God Mystic Sanctuary isn't a thing. Holy crap, what a card. Is it Colonnade time? No, I guess not. Oh, they found the Teferi. Brutal. Yeah, that's gotta be the nail in the coffin, right? They've done a pretty excellent job at warding off pretty much everything I threw at them. The issue is I could never assemble 2 things at the same time. I mean, if I find a burn spell, I could, like, hit down the Teferi, but it feels unlikely. That could be a way to do it, too. I could Sprite Dragon, Lightning Bolt Teferi, kill Teferi that way. It, again, leaves me soft to Colonnade. But I'm pretty soft to this Teferi, even more so. And I've got to, I guess we'll go to blocks. I've got to bolt first, so that way the counter... I guess I could actually just use Mutagenic Growth. That has it doing 4. I can then Lava Dart the opponent, keeping the Bolt in hand. That seems somehow better, but that has me dying a whole turn earlier. No, let's just Bolt. Also, if they counter the Bolt, we can then Mutagenic Growth, and that kills the Teferi too. Well, I mean, like, I needed another burn spell to finish the Teferi. But now we're worried about Colonnade. Here it comes. We've got the Lava Dart, so another Lightning Bolt would do it. We know a Lightning Bolt is on the bottom of the deck, so maybe we actually want to just shuffle it back in by sacrificing. It doesn't actually shorten the clock at all. I guess Mutagenic Growth is... It doesn't get any harder to cast, right? There's no difference between 5 and 3. Yeah, let's shuffle it back in. Yeah. Serum Vision's not a bad start. Don't have a counter. Don't have a counter. Boo. Hiya. So, like, if I Lava Dart, I'll have a 4/4, which means I could just block the Colonnade. Which, honestly, I'm gonna do. I could actually even, like, just kill the Colonnade after Mutagenic Growthing. So, I mean, if they draw a blank here, I guess that means I shouldn't have darted, right? I should have waited, but it was always going to get hit by any spell. Yep, I mean, we're obviously going to be soft to counterspell, but even if they find a counterspell, we still just grow our Sprite Dragon. On the subject of Chozo and Metroid, they were basically bird people, and Samus had their DNA spliced into her to help her survive hostile planets. I mean, she rolls into a ball and goes around everywhere. Anything's possible. That's what I got, opponent. Thank you for coming to your TED Talk. I mean, if they found a land here, we've got a 5/5. It's lethal over 3 turns. Like, we're not actually just out of it. They had nothing. Sick. Whoa! I'm gonna go for that. That thing is thick. Let's just go for the max size, right? Serum Visions can go. Iteration can go. Expressive Iteration, Bolt, Serum Visions. Yeah. I mean, they could have actual factual Counterspell. Counterspell would not have helped them versus, oh, they have it? Oh, come on. It would not have helped them versus Mutagenic Growth because we would get the counter regardless. Yeah, we kept at least an instant or sorcery. We have another expressive iteration over here. They still have just a lot of good draws. Oh, they found one. Oh, brutal. They're drawn kind of hot. They have to unsummon, yeah. I mean, any spell off of the top that costs 1 or less, we get to kill the Jace, then we're back at parity. Oof, not that one. Well, I mean, I guess we get to just do it first. Just make blue red. That counts. So it's the same amount of damage. I guess it's actually more damage if we bolt them, attack Jace for 2. There's the bolt that we shuffled back. And I think I will just go at the Jace. I could put them to 5, but then they're going to start brainstorming. Alright, I mean, this has been quite the game. Alright, I'm going to play a Swift Spear. You're at 4. Remember, they should actually be at 2 less because I had forgotten to Silo Fire them way back when. Okay, they haven't found anything yet. Well, I think I'm just going to go for the attack, and then assuming it works, barring Force of Negation, we just kill them. Which I guess means I should just Lava Dart. Kill you? Wow. That was a game. They drew so hot, but we drew just enough to, like, keep in it. That's a fairy a while ago had me, like, not feeling good. I think this is a Bedlam Reveler matchup. Probably also a Moon matchup. Spell Pierce, I'm iffy on, because, like, these games are going to go pretty long, and these are going to get pretty dead. You don't even know how the hell you nerf this deck? Yeah, like, I don't know what would be bannable out of this deck. Like, Monastery Swift Spear? There's no way that card's bannable, right? Maybe it's Stormwing? Nah, because then Mono Red is still just good. So I for sure want these 3. They do a lot of killing of my creatures, so I don't think I want to bore down on them. Lava Darts seem like not really what I want to be doing. I need one more cut. I think I like cutting Mutagenics as well. They're not a Fatal Push deck, and these are really susceptible to removal spells like Fatal Push. So I think what I'm wanting to know now is something like Spell Pierce better than just more Mutagenic Growths? I think it probably is. Mutagenic Growth can really push some damage though. I think I'm just gonna play 2. Because, like, this isn't the kind of deck where we, like, absolutely need a Spell Pierce to win. Like, it's not like the Cascade deck's trying to hit Living End. I think 2 is fine. They're going to be dead late, so I don't want to overload on them, I don't think. Errata hit, so you can only have so many. If this ability hasn't triggered yet this turn. Please don't ban your Storm deck. They're banning Steam Vents. It's oppressive at anything that can't keep up with it. I mean, I feel like that might actually just be the mark of something that's healthy for the format, because it forces you to be interactive so you don't just die and get run over. Alright, I think we're leading Steam Vents. Then Swift Spear. Yeah, I don't think it's like too good, but I do think it's very good. Yogg's ban. You wanna ban Yawgmoth? Ban literally anything. We should ban Jund. Jund is too good. It's never bad. No, sometimes it's pretty bad. Alright, so I think this turn I'm casting Sprite Dragon. Yeah, I'm gonna just try to overwhelm them with threats here. Like we're gonna just we're gonna have to force them just like have it after have it after have it. Gust. I think I'm gonna top that. Because again, I just want to make sure that my threats can continue connecting. I need to make sure I have threats. especially if they're gonna try to pull ahead with planeswalkers. I think I need to be able to pressure them. The J that Jun gets banned is did you sell out of Modern? Your old Twitch was this Yogs? And Jeff Bezos banned your account? Oof. Vindicate? Okay. So we still just have Stormwing on top. I'm going to try it again. And I think I still want to get Steam Vents, because in the event they've got another Vindicate, I don't want them taking me off of a color. And then next turn, I think the plan is Expressive Iteration, try to find a land, maybe play Seal of Fire. You sort of will sell everything and go play Legacy. I'm not sure everything that you can ever sell will be enough to buy all the duels that you want, but maybe. Alright, so let's lead on Iteration. Feels like the only like straightforward thing to do. Like we could Seal of Fire and hold up Bolt, but again I think I'm in the position where I want to just continue to force the opponent to have it. Counter, sure. I mean, while this is happening, we're still just attacking for a lot, barring a Fatal Push. And I don't think they've got a Fatal Push, unless they've drawn one recently. Was turn 1 they played a land, and then just, like, didn't Fatal Push. It was a Misty, so they would have had to fetch Shocks. Maybe they were hoping to wait. But I think the read is correct, and they just don't have it. Between Blue Eye Control, which is pretty foiled out, and Jund, you have something like 35 to 3,700 in the decks. That's a decent amount. Ooh, Manamorphose. Well, so if I Manamorphose intending to Stormwing, I'm weaker to Supreme Verdict. Whereas if I just Expressive Iteration try to hit a land, I'm less weak to Supreme Verdict. I guess I could always lead on Manamorphose and then still just cast Iteration, try to get in a really big hit. Sure. See what happens. Roll some dice. Yeah, I should probably get a safe too, or at least get your stuff insured, you know. Counter spell. Yep. I mean, we're still just attacking for a lot. And like we're getting them into the range where burn spells might just have us crossing the finish line. We're 1 point short as is. Yeah, like I've got my cards insured under just like my renter's insurance. Protection from black and from red. When it enters the battlefield, exile all cards that are black or red from all graveyards. If a black red permanent or spell, put onto the battlefield, put it into a graveyard and exile instead. Sure. So it's a worse Auriok champion. I guess this is Grave Hate, whereas Auriok champion isn't. So they're just different, right? I don't think they've got a Cryptic Command, because they would have cast that instead of Archmage's Charm. And then they must have just drawn the Sanctifier, because they could have done this and Archmage's Charm last turn. So I think their card in hand is just dead. Iteration again. So this blocks that pretty handily. I think what I'm going to do is just cast a Seal of Fire, because then this is lethal on its own, and the read is they don't have something that interacts with it. I guess Iteration is better, assuming I've got a land in my top 3, and then if they don't have a way to interact with a sprite, which the read is they don't, then either Burn Spell is just lethal next turn. Yeah, let's Iteration for those reasons. We did find a land. Put one of them into hand. I think we're doing Channeler just because it's another threat. We already have other cantrips to spend time on, so let's put this to hand. One onto the bottom. One into exile. Play the land. And then, I guess just attack. This isn't punching through no matter what. I guess we could play the seal. If they do just have a counter spell, like actual counter spell, or another Archmage's Charm, we put them to 1, which turns fetching off. Sure. Then this obviously just like shows them lethal too, so they actually have to do something. We win. The question in the chat is, with Seal of Fire, do you get a second prowess trigger on the sack? You do not, because you're not when you're activating it, you're not actually casting anything. You're just activating an ability. They probably have CC. I don't know what you mean by counterspell. Yeah, like counterspell was just about the only thing that does it. But even then, we just hit them to 1, and then we have still a lethal flyer and a bolt. So we'd have to attack. Like the only way that we would like fall out of favor is if we try to bolt them pre-combat, they like counterbalance, then we could be in trouble. But not even then, really. Yeah, like Cryptic could be problematic, but really not even then, because they were at 6, right? So we still just Seal of Fire them down to 4. We have a bolt put you to 1, and then we still just have a lethal flyer that they have to deal with, on top of just like the rest of our deck pretty much killing them. So, I mean, it was a very good spot, and they would have needed to go, like, runner on top of us being runner unlucky for it to get turned around. Cryptic to Wrath? Cryptic wouldn't have Wrathed, right? Unless I'm misunderstanding you, and you mean it in some other way. Yeah, but yeah, I'm saying like they were still at 6 and we had 5 in hand because we had Seal and Bolt. But if we put them to 1, we still have a lethal flyer, because if they bounce it, it still just attacks for 1 with haste next turn. So like they have to deal with the flyer, and literally like the rest of the deck also kills them. And like in between all of that, they also have to find a way to start pulling ahead. So I think like Kaya's Guile could have maybe done it, but I think that's the only like one card that really puts us in danger. All right, this I have to ship. This is better. Look at this combo here. Keep. And I guess I'm bottoming Iteration. This is the only way I have to actually interact with whatever the opponent might be doing. The opponent is also mulligans. Yeah, they were just in a bad position. I don't think there was really what we could have lost outside of just like having a stroke mid-game and not being able to do anything else. Alright, so they mulligans. Please don't be an aggro deck. I'll shock. But yeah, Channeler has looked pretty sick so far. I'm still not convinced it's better than Soulscar Mage, but it has been at least as good. Bobble, but no Luris. They playing Channelers? It targeted us. Yogg's Band, thank you for the follow. I appreciate the support. Yeah, could just be a mirror. Looks like it could be. And no plays. Okay. What you got, deck? Ooh, that one's good. So I guess I'll get to Dragon's Channeler first, and then I get to Serum Visions and Surveil twice. We might even hit Delirium here, which would be funny. Like, we're going to have Sorcery land at least. Target yourself. So yeah, it might just be Prowess. It might just be Delver again. I mean, Bobble, I guess, is kind of Lotus Petal towards Delve spells. Let's see if we can hit the Delirium. That's 1. Put into the graveyard. That does not work. I think I would probably want to just draw that. Yeah, drawing that's probably... I mean, binning it also seems great. They're playing blue-red. If they're not playing Prowess, then Bolt loses some value. Let's just bin it. Draw. Ooh. Yes, please. So we'll just go top. Manamorphose on top so we can draw Stormwing and play Stormwing. That doesn't have us getting Delirium, but Stormwing feels like it's got to be pretty strong, too. Just really overload them with threats. So, put on top. Attack. So, if they kill either one of our creatures, then the other one just gets turned on. So Murktide will turn these off, but I mean spells are just going to continue to feed them, right? Ideally. So we are leading on Manamorphose, And we know that this is hitting Stormwing Entity. If they have a counter spell, though, for the Stormwing, that at least turns on the Channelers. So I still think I'm doing this now. Because again, if they've got a counter, Channelers get turned on. We're still topping it. Wonder what's on top. I mean, I could also just... I could bin it to turn the Channelers on. You know. Yeah. So like obviously I've kind of just wasted a scry here, but at the ability to turn the Channelers on, I'm not gonna compound the error when I think the correct play is still to actually just mill this. Yeah, so I should have gotten an extra Surveil, but I still think it's probably correct. Then we'll make, I guess, blue. They did have the counter. So we are getting rewarded. They have to attack. It just taps them for me. That's funny. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't mess that up. Obviously wish I had surveilled once more, but it is what it is. They top bottom. I feel like every 90-something% of Seravisions just go top bottom. You got Murktide. And it's a 7/7. So these have to attack, right? I guess I don't have to attack with them because I could exile cards to take me off of Delirium. But honestly, getting the damage in might just be good. Because like let's say for example I just cast Swift Spear, dart them twice. That puts them to 7. Each attacks for 3, puts you to 1. Then they like actually have to not. They actually can't block after that. That seems great too. I kind of want to just do that. Yeah. We put you to 7 here, and then each attacks for 3. Oh, I had not thought about that. I mean, I guess I still have the option of Murktide here. So, if we put that on top, we can attack both, put them to 6, cast Murktide of our own, which would then shrink these, but they'd be at 6. And then they can't really block this. I guess it's going to be 4 big, so it's going to be a 6/6, which is smaller than theirs. Oh, sorry, it's going to be a 7/7. They're just as big. I think I'm topping this, because that has Lava Dart next turn being good. And I think I'm throwing one of these into the Channeler if that means I can deal 3. I mean, like, I could just not attack with them, but I think going to 6 is good here. Alright, then we get to Murktide. And then we want to exile all the spells so our thing is big. And then I guess we've got 2 creatures for Delirium already, so we'll exile another creature so it's easier to turn on later. So we've got Swift Spear on top and Lava Dart in hand. I'm not sure that they can attack. They are, though. Well, Murktide's already lethal on its own. Sure. We can dart that. They've got creature, artifact, land. I guess if they add instant, that could be a way that this bites us. So, I mean, as is, if we just attack and they have an instant, you're saying it could be another subtlety? Well, it's not subtlety now. Like, this has to be able to fly to block this. So they have to have an instant, right? So if I dart them twice, that puts them to 4, and they still just take 4 and they're dead. So I think I just lead on an attack. It's like they've got to do something first. Unless it's Vapor Snag, in which case we die. We do have a mountain to flash this back. So I mean, like, 2 things would be the least ideal scenario, but they can only do it with a single red. How Storming versus Murktide. Alright, so attack all. Alright, so they do have the spell. But we can now just respond. So this should have him dying. Yeah, like short of a Vapor Snag, we're winning there. Alright, so it's just blue-red Prowess again, but they're also playing Channeler. So again, because of Murktide, I'll bring in the Vapor Snag. I don't really like much else, though. I guess Pierce can be good. And then a Braid. I guess a Braid also, but I mean, about every burn spell in our deck also deals with stuff. Yeah, I think they're just on Delver. How did I board last time? They had Subtlety, so very likely Delver. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't think Prowess really has room for Subtlety. Alright, so we need 4 cuts. I don't remember what we did last time. I think I'm shaving a dart. It kills Delver pretty well, but not after it's flipped. I think I'll cut 1 threat. I don't even know what else I can cut. I really don't know. It can't be a Storming. It can't be Murktide because they're just so hard to deal with. Sprite Dragon is a threat. I don't think I can cut that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just darts. Like darts kill the X ones, but only while they're X ones, and pretty often they're going to be larger. Yeah, I think on the draw this is even a little bit better than when we're on the play. Because on the play, I think we're really trying to just be the aggressor. And Lava Dart's good in that case, where you have lots of like one mana stuff, right? We don't think I can keep this one. That was a fetch land, maybe. This sounds good. Keep. We've got triple threat Manamorphose. I think I'm just bottoming a land here. Probably Islet. I mean, assuming we find another land, we may want the Islet to sacrifice later. So maybe then I ditch the Mire. But I also want the Mire to put a land in the yard for the Channeler. I'll ditch Islet. Yeah, a Braid is literally just a removal spell, but everything in the deck is already a removal spell. So I think we're probably safe without it. Is Spell Pierce that important? I think it's good to mess up the tricks. Okay, so we get to cast that on turn 2. So with that in mind, do I want to Swift Spear or do I want a Channeler? I think I want a Channeler first. They're not playing Lava Darts of their own, presumably, so without Lava Dart of their own... Like, if they had Lava Dart, I'd want to play Swift Spear because that's more resilient to it. But I think I want to get the Channeler going so I can start surveilling. No flip, please? Hey. 1 for 1. Target me. Yep. If they attack, I'll block. I mean, I don't have removal for this, and if there's one thing I do have, it's lots of threats. So I think I actually do want to use this as kind of a removal spell, right? Because I've got so many backup threats, but no good ways to interact with theirs. So I think I'll accept the trade. Did find a land. I think I'm still just going to go for the Manamorphose Stormwing. I could, I guess, just Sprite Dragon. I don't have the Mutagenic Growth, so they're both susceptible to Lightning Bolt, but Stormwing Entity is just better, like, as a creature. So maybe I just lead on the Sprite Dragon, given my lack of other spells, and then next turn I can Manamorphose into Stormwing and then hit for a little bit extra. It's actually the same amount of damage, assuming I get my hits in, because it's 1 now and 2 next turn, whereas it would be 3 next turn. So it's actually a similar amount of damage, but I get to better defend my my Stormwing by spriting first. So I think I'm going to sprite first. And they still kind of have to be afraid of Mutagenic Growth, but knowing I don't have it, sure. Yeah, knowing I don't have it, I think I want to lead on the Sprite Dragon. Dart. That is another way to enable the entity. I think what I'm going to do here is lead on Swift Spear, then Manamorphose into an entity. They missed a land. I guess one thing that I could have done is I could have not played Swift Spear and then just held up Lava Dart as Lightning Bolt insurance. But pushing damage seems good too, especially while they're missing lands. They got Spell Pierce, Thought Scour, Delver Island. So maybe they were digging for a Force of Negation, which they just didn't find. Bolt's good. Bolt helps the push damage plan. Ooh. I like these. I think I'm just going to top, putting Serum Visions on the tippy top, because then I can just Serum Visions into the Spell Pierce. So we'll put on top, get in for 2. That was a nice little turn. We could still be soft to Murktide Regent. So something to be careful of. And they topped with the Scrya, by the way. Alright, yeah, I didn't have the insurance that I was worried about. Lantern, sure. So that's gonna make our whatchamacallits weaker, the Murktides. Yeah, Delver is like just kind of in general pretty fun too. Alright, so we'll lead on Serum Visions. We will draw our Spell Pierce and then 2 lands to the bottom. If I Dart and Bolt, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 Prowess triggers is 6, 7, 8, 9. Put you to 4. I don't think that's quite good enough yet. I'm just gonna get in for 2. Because if they've got another Bolt or a Braid to interact with the Swift Spear, I may want to save it with the Lava Dart. You have to place it from the Vault Delvers. That's sick. Get in for 2. You know, I could really try to push damage here, but I think it's probably better to hold up Spell Pierce. Because again, I don't want this thing dying. And I'm not going to Bolt End Step because it's worth more for Prowess triggers on my own turn. Ooh, that was good. I'm just going to lead there, right? And I'm always going to tap the Steam Vents first, because if I do want to sacrifice it to a Lava Dart, I don't want to awkwardly have to float mana. It's just another counter spell. I could Spell Pierce this. This puts protection down, but I mean, I could just find the land. So if I spell pierce this, I'll attack for 3, have him at 8. Yeah, I'm going to pierce this. Using pierce aggressively feels good. Ugh, Unholy Heat. That was always going to kill it anyway. I guess I could have pierced that, but I mean, we get to... Ooh. Alright, put one of them in the hand, bolt. It doesn't matter. I guess this way takes a land out of the deck. Lets us hold up bolt. We got 8 points of burn as is. Uh-oh, Murktide time? Yep, how big is it? 7/7? 8/8? The max? I can throw literal everything at it if I wanted to. Don't think I'm wanting to do that, though. Any burn spell kills them, though. Right? Like, actual any burn spell kills them? Not including that one. I mean, I guess I get to Lava Dart them. And just get the Storming into play. Yeah, it does make them not able to swing as well. That's true. Please no counterspells the last card. Exile each opponent's yard. I guess I'll dart you. I guess that was the reason to not have used specifically the dart. Does it even matter? Like, should I just let the dart go? I mean, my 2 bolts put them to 2. So if I dart them now, that does take them off of Islet for mana. That's not nothing. It takes them off of counterspell on top of continuing to play stuff on their own turn. Sure. Not using a card. Not using this to buy a card is curious. And it is counterspell. So do we just bolt them now and then hope they don't draw a counterspell next turn? See, I mean, that's why we darted. I guess I should hold it because, like, if I draw a Monastery of Swift Spear, then I can beat even a counterspell. Because if they draw a counterspell, we're losing to it anyway because they just counter second bolt. So I think we're holding and just hoping that they brick. So it's like the sprite would make me wish I had bolted here. Yeah, I guess we'll just bolt here. But then Swift Spear isn't lethal anymore, so... Uh-oh. Well, that worked. Oh, okay, sure. Sick. 3-0, not bad. So if I bolted, you could just draw another thing to bait the counter and then bolted for the dub. How do you mean? You have to be a little more specific. I'm not sure what you mean. All that thinking with the bolt on top. Yeah, pretty much. I draw a lot of lightning bolts now that I'm playing Prowess. Why is that? If I tried Bobble in the list, seems to be getting out of it a lot because of the Dragon's Rage Channeler. Only Nombo is the Storming, really. I wanted to try it, but Mana Traders does not currently have any. So, this hand. So we've got turn 1 Channeler. We can then upkeep a mutagenic growth, trying to find a land, and then cast Stormwing. We've got a couple interactive spells and some long game cards. This hand's a glass cannon, but I think it's a pretty sturdy glass cannon. To be honest though, Cynical, I'm not even certain that we need Bobble. Like the Delirium has been very manageable. Has been very manageable even without it. Alright, so we have to set a stop on our upkeep so that we get this trigger in upkeep. Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't think that Bobble is something we even really need. They want Castle, they got Castle. Saying both EOT when I had the chance, then if you drew an iteration or something, they may counter that. No, they don't counter the iteration because they're going to counter the thing that would actually have me killing them. I don't think they're ever counting their iteration because they know the bolt is what they're afraid of. If I find the bolt, they still get to just attack me and kill me. It's like I am forced to bolt them first because they're attacking me, and then when I'm forced to do so, they then just counter it and I die. Alright, so upkeep, we're going to mutagenic growth. And then try to find the land with this. Not quite. I mean, I guess we have the exact same play, just next turn. Yeah, I mean, missing there was pretty big. Because we're not adding a Stormwing here. They could Titan me here if they've got it. Titan plus attack. Looks like they've got it. Yeah, so had we Stormwinged, it looked like we were still kind of just dead. Because this thing attacks with haste, and we're just not coming back. So, a Braid kills Amulet. We obviously want the Blood Moon. Shattering Spree also kills Amulet, but that's it. Is Spell Pierce a thing? It can tax Pact, but that's about it. Not certain that it's great. For sure want the Moon. I think I'm wanting the Abrades. Just so I have a way to kill Amulet. That could like also have other utility. Like I could Shattering Spree to try to kill Amulet. Like, that's really better versus like multiple copies of Amulet. But I think Abrade killing stuff like the stupid O3, Azusa, stuff like that, like just having other utility seems good. I don't think this is a matchup where you really need a lot of mutagenic growth. And they're not really killing my creatures super often either. So I think I could probably cut a threat. Murktide again. Probably cut like a dart as well. The dart's really good for trying to get that super nutty draw. And we're playing against combos, so I feel like we're trying to get the super nutty draw. How is Murktide? Murktide's been very good so far. I think 2 is probably right around perfect for it. Just having another threat that doesn't die to Fatal Push is nice. Yeah, kind of good, turns out. Very true. Card's good. It's a better Tombstalker. And a better color. Yeah, I mean, we've got Channeler into Sprite Dragon into Blood Moon. Kind of the nuts. And then I'm thinking that I'm going to save the the Manamorphose for when I need to produce blue. Oh, brutal. We get to Sprite Dragon here. Okay. Urza Saga. So that gets Amulet eventually, right? They have Map too? And they have Amulet. Alright, well, I mean, we've got the Blood Moon. And the Bolt. So I'm definitely wanting to Blood Moon here. Geronimo, thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. I could Manamorphose into Blood Moon to get the extra damage, but I think I want to save the Manamorphose for post Blood Moon. So that way I can Iteration next turn if I feel like it. So we'll get the Mountain. Moon. Oh, it just dies? I did not know that's how that worked, but I'm happy about it. Why does it die? Anyone know? What are the odds Saga ends up eating a ban? I think it's probably the most likely to eat a ban out of all of the cards in the set. Dart. Alright, let's lead Manamorphose, make blue-red. Ooh. Honestly, just playing another Sprite Dragon equates to more damage. So let's do that. And then I do think I want to be casting spells here. Bolt kills more stuff, so I guess we'll just Lava Dart. We get a lot of damage in by doing this. Yeah, we kind of had the nuts here. Don't know the specific layers, but it's an enchantment land. It also dies to Spreading Seas effects. It's because of the weird ruling with sagas. If they have more saga counters than their highest level, it automatically dies since it has 1 when Blood Moon hits and effectively 0 levels at higher than 0, so it dies. Sure. I'll believe it. So now that I'm on the draw, do I want to bring in Shattering Spree? Seeing Expedition Map maybe means that there are just enough artifacts now. What would I take out for it? I guess while I have Iteration in the deck, maybe I just cut a couple of those. Because I'm trying to Blood Moon so the blue stuff gets worse. That doesn't seem ridiculous. Yeah, I think I'm into trying it. Expedition Up is usually a 1-of to get with the Saga. Yeah, that makes some sense. I mean, I'm at 4 ways to kill a Amulet now. I've got 2 Abrade and 2 Shattering Spree. I'll be sure to use Shattering Spree first, assuming I've got a choice. Ooh. This hand's great in the dark, but we don't have a quick Stormwing. And the rest of our hand's pretty slow. We've got some good sideboard cards to dig to. And we can dig to them with the Serum Visions. But there's not a lot we're hoping to hit other than a sideboard card. And even if we do, the rest of our hand's kind of slow. This is marginal, but I think this is a Disciplined Mulligan. This is better. We'll keep this. And then I guess bottom the Lava Dart. I mean, I guess Dart kills plants. And it pushes kind of the exact same amount of damage, but for more mana. I think I'm going to bottom the mutagenic in favor of the thing that goes to face without needing a creature. And then I'm going to try to find the Blood Moon. Had the amulet. That's an Abrade. That does deal with the amulet. Spire Bluff, Serum Visions. Storming Entity and then more Manamorphose. So, do I have time to Abrade next turn? I kind of have to, right? So, like, next turn I could Manamorphose into a Stormwing. I think I want this land, right? Because, like, my best sideboard card is a Blood Moon. And, like, I need the lands for it anyway. So, let's go top, go. And then next turn I'll probably just take the turn off to kill the amulet. Jeez. That's bad. They got a good one. And the Saga. Alright, so I kind of have to kill this, right? Or they just make so much mana. They could Titan me next turn if I don't kill this. They could also just start making Urza's tokens. You got 3 land drops this turn. 1 more land drop this turn. I mean, this is a game I conceivably win if I can find the Blood Moon. Alright, so let's take a non-Blood Moon card out of the deck before casting a Manamorphose. Make blue-red. Come on, Blood Moon. Not quite. So I mean, I could lightning bolt this. So I guess I could lightning bolt this, lava dart this, but then I'm not getting a Stormwing into play. I think I'm just gonna Manamorphose again, because if I find a Blood Moon, I'm slamming it. Like, I've got a spell to enable Stormwing next turn anyway. So let's look at Blood Moon once more. Mutagenic Growth. Alright, so this can go off. They're going to make a 1/1. This can go off, get, I guess, Expedition Map. They can get, like, Teleria West to transmute, but they're a blue short. I mean, I, like, have to get a threat into play sooner or later. This also scries towards Blood Moon, which is nice. Manamorphose again. Alright, well, I'll bottom the land. Top the Morphos. I think I'm doing the best that I can. I think I've made the decisions correctly so far. Make a 1/1. Yeah, I'm aware they've got the Dryad, which, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to beat it, unfortunately. Like, their first Valakut is going to be... Their first land, period, is going to be a trigger. So they do get map then, right? Because if they get the map, they can get just any land. They can play 2 lands, really try to kill the Stormwing. Losing a land hurts. So, yeah, there's not much I can do about this. So I mean, if they have a land in hand, they'll get to bolt something once, but I can then use mutagenic growth to save it, and then on my turn, I can kill Dryad to turn Valakut off. But then I'm still just soft to a Titan, you know, assuming this gets a green source, they can cast it. He's got another Valakut. Jeez. Alright, that makes sense. So, what I can do now is I can mutagenic growth, puts my thing up to a 6/6. I can then also Lava Dart to get it out of range. I could Lava Dart the construct. Yeah, I think that's the plan. They have no more land drops for the turn. And then if they attack, I'll block. I doubt they're attacking, though, because then their Valakuts go offline. But, I mean, this is actually a fine spot to be in, assuming no Titan. Alright, so we get to lead on Manamorphose, because if we hit a Blood Moon, we still might just want to do that. So, lead on the Moon. Or, sorry, lead on the Manamorphose. Make blue and red. Land. Alright, well, I have to bolt and dart that. So, Lava Dart, you. Bolt, you. Stormwing. Expressive iteration. Probably have to keep that, but it's not a Blood Moon. Bottom that. So we're attacking for 6 now. Put you to 18. And then iteration has us attacking for another 8. I mean, assuming no Titan, this has a high likelihood of us killing them in 2 turns. Yeah, that's probably good enough. And I won't fetch. Unless we see that we just have to find something that's not an iteration. Sure. Thing has reach. Okie dokie. Please no Titan. Remember, everything is green. So they have Titan mana easily. That's annoying. I do think I want to draw this iteration at this point. I mean, the only draw that would be better is Blood Moon. So, like, maybe I should just draw to that. But a land is such a bad draw for me that I think I have to just draw the iteration and be happy about it. I'll take a non-Blood Moon land out of the deck. Get the mountain. Blue, red, iteration. So we're attacking for chunks. So we do not have Delirium. So we've got land, instant, sorcery. So even after the iteration goes to the yard, we don't have Delirium for the channeler. If I put Seal into play this turn, cast Mutagenic Growth, that's 2 damage, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus the 8 in play. That's 14, puts you to 10. It's not lethal over 2 turns. So maybe I just need the Channeler, but I won't have the way to get the Delirium on unless I put Seal into hand. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get Channeler and Seal of Fire. So put one of them into my hand, the Seal of Fire, because I need to play Channeler this turn. So put one of them into my hand, Seal of Fire. One of them on the bottom, Mutagenic Growth. One of them into exile, Channeler. How's the redeemed posture check? Yeah, I'm like really into this game, so I'm like leaning into it. Attack. Alright, and we're still hoping for no Titan, no Summoner's Pact. I mean, there's a lot that would be problematic here. And even if they don't hit it, this still gets to do a thing. The only draw that would just about seal the deal would be... oh, they just found it. Yeah, I mean, if you find it, you found it. I mean, they don't have Dryad in play, but they do have a haste enabler. So it's looking like we're going to have to hope that we can kill them on this turn. What would that take? So we've got Seal, which makes this 5 plus 8 is 13. So any spell actually does it. My back's important? Yeah, probably. So, I mean, we get attacked for 6. I'm assuming they could put, like, some plants in play, but those don't block flyers. So, any spell and we might actually get there. Them drawing the Titan was pretty unfortunate, though. I guess, like, Radiant Fountain puts them up a few points, so that means it's not any spell that does it. It needs to be a burn spell. Any Lava Dart, Lightning Bolt. I guess other Seal of Fire would even do it. They're just setting up for another Titan. Yeah, they bounced the Teleria West. Give it Titan haste. Yeah, I'm assuming they drew the Titan, but this could have easily been a play that they lined up. So I wonder what they get here. I think they gotta get Radiant Fountain, because the way that the math works out is any spell kills them, but it would have to be a burn spell if they gain 2. But I mean, they'd have to copy it at this point, because the Radiant Fountain is already in play. They're bogging me. That's bad, because that makes it much harder to turn the Delirium on. Still not impossible, but much harder. I guess it starts with a cantrip. Okay, they balanced the Radiant Fountain and played it. Makes sense. That is not a cantrip. So, Seal of Fire. So, they just have a second Titan with haste next turn, right? Yeah, they just have second Titan with haste, because like we know they've got Teleria West in hand. So if we attack all, that's 9. We can make it 11. I think we're just dead. I think we're beat. Bummer. Pretty sure we're beat. Just redoing the math, making sure I'm not stupid. I think we're beat. Yeah, we're dead. Because, like, we know they've got other Titan. We know they can give it haste. Trophy Dream dead. Still doing pretty hot, though. 4-1 Dream still alive. Yeah, we've got a keeper. They revealed Gigantha. So I guess that means one of two things. Either humans or Tron. This hand seems fine versus either of those. That's annoying. It's out of frame. Breeding pool. Okay, well maybe I'm just wrong. Hey, that's a good draw. So annoying. Why is it all the way up there? There we go. Steam vents. I think I'm gonna want to use my fetch sooner rather than later, because it could mess up a surveil later. So let's get steam vents, and then play a Sprite Dragon. This is not a counterspell, or the card counterspell. Oh, I guess this could be Niv. In the event that it is Niv, they could have, I guess, Lightning Helix, but they've gotten lands that don't cast it very well. So I think I'm actually wanting to Mutagenic Growth now, because this puts an extra counter on the Sprite. Yeah, let's bin that. Value. Basic Mountain. Is it Helix? Oh, it's the Crashing Footfalls deck. Oh, it's just Zoo. It's 5-color Zoo. Okay. So this is discard a card, draw a card, or exile up to one target card from a graveyard. Alright, so pretty strong. Iteration. So this could be our last good time to attempt to put a Murktide Regent into play. Unfortunately, it does not look like we'll be able to. So if I could both bolt and seal of fire this territorial Kavu. It's not ideal. We've got instant land in the yard. That's it. So if I seal and then I surveil into like a sorcery or a creature, we can get in for even more damage and gives me some more info on what I should do. Yeah, I think I'm leading seal. And then seeing if I can surveil into the Delirium. Would love to surveil into the Delirium here. That's just another land. Graveyard. So I've got another shot at it with Lightning Bolt. Alternatively, I could just use the seal, shock in the Steam Vents, and cast Murktide before the Kavu gets going. It'll be a 5/5 flyer, which isn't nothing. Kinda like it. So, seal, target you. Shock. Yes. I'm aware this is shrinking the channeler, but feels worth it. And if they play the domain 4/4 flyer artifact, our 5/5 is bigger than it. Good old red green, make red green. Tribal Flames. Damn. Alright, well that would have been a reason to bolt instead, but I was trying to hit the Delirium off of Channeler. So this is hexproof from monocolored. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, make a 4/4. That seems good. This says trample or no? No. I mean, in the off chance that I enable Delirium here, I get to just kill them. I mean, I've got instant sorcery creature. I just need to hit like actual anything off of the channeler, and I kill them. Like, even a land would do it. Don't want that, right? Yeah, put in the graveyard. The fetch land would do it. Does mutagenic growth do it? That is the land, but like that's not going to the yard. So does other bolt do it? So like as is, no, right? I need to put mutagenic growth into hand and hope they don't have path to exile or fatal push. If they don't have path to exile or fatal push, we're good. So put one of them into hand. I guess lightning bolt. One of them into the bottom. This into exile. Because then we can do this now and get another look at the channeler. So it can maybe go unblocked. Oh, we knew it was Bolt already. No, we didn't know it was Bolt. That's just another copy of Bolt. So we still have just creature, instant, sorcery. We just didn't hit a land. We needed to hit a land off of this. I mean, we have to bin it. We're not just dead. We can block the Kavu for some number of turns. Alright, or this just works too. Cool. Maybe a mistake. I should have probably bolted them pre-combat to just get another look for the channeler, but if they had the push, it was breaking us up no matter what. So Moon seems like it's going to be good versus 5 color. They play like Tribal Flames, but that's about the only Spell Pierce target. I think we're wanting Vapor Snag. That's maybe it. Sleep beckons. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your support as always. Alright, so 5 color Zoo. I think I want to cut a Swift Spear while we're on the draw. Because like it's unlikely to punch through. All of our other creatures can eventually fly. And then Dart doesn't really feel like it's gonna kill a whole lot. I haven't really seen a bunch of X ones. I guess if they're playing Ignoble Hierarch or just regular Noble Hierarch, then Lava Dart goes up in value. I mean, they probably are playing some number of those. Maybe I keep in a Dart and then take out an iteration, because like they're really beat down, right? Like we don't really have time to grind. Maybe I just really like just leave in all of the Lava Darts because they go face, and then just take out another iteration. I can see that being reasonable. Was there consideration to leaving Bolt on top since they were at 9 and look for lethal next turn in case they didn't have push for Dragon? I mean, we already had second copy of lethal Bolt in hand. Yikes, this hand. So if we find a land, is this hand good? I mean, we can kill their creatures and we've got plenty of threats. If we find a land, I think this hand's good. I think that means it's a keep. Triome, yep. Can we just find it immediately? No sweat? We didn't find it immediately, but that can help. So between Channeler and Swiftspear, I think I am playing a creature here. I just don't know which one. If I plan on bolting in my upkeep, Channeler's better. So just like dig for the land. Let's do it. I do think I'm gonna bolt upkeep. Because if I hit a land, I could then deploy another threat or just cast Serum Visions. I guess that's gonna be threat because they're better after Serum Visions. Would really like to just hit the land though. Perfect. Like, obviously, I could have just, like, hoped to hit the land, because it's a lot better if I get the prowess trigger off of second Swiftspear, but it's also such a disaster if I miss. It's not, like, a disaster, but it's a lot worse if I miss. Yep, so it's a hexproof for mono-colored, so I cannot lightning bolt that. But they're also probably not wanting to block it. Ooh, that's bad for me. So they get to kill both of my things here. What do they evoke it off of? Just another general? That's bad. Stormwing. I guess I'm casting Swiftspear and attacking? There's no way they block, right? It's just hexproof for monocolor. It's not actually protection for multicolored. Serum Visions. Land Manamorphose. Those feel like they gotta be pretty good. Get some flyers going. We even drew a Murktide. So I think I'm gonna go top with Manamorphose on top so I can draw into it. I'm going to attack. It's not going to have a good attack after they start making 4/4s. This means that I'm not blocking it, but I think it's unlikely that a block is what wins me the game. I think I have to push damage. There's a lot of red sources. Yep, that's a 4/4. This card's pretty sweet. Yikes. It's a lot of stuff. Hit Kavu as well. Wow. They're going off. What has to happen now? Jeez. So even if I block, I take way lethal. Oof, that was impressive. So I know I have a Steam Vents on top. That doesn't get me there. I think I'm just dead. That was good. Because I know Steam Vents is on top. So yeah, these are all just way too slow. There's no way I can like expressive iteration into a bunch of burn. I only have 1 mana afterwards. Yeah, we're dead. Yeah, this card was real. I don't think I can make changes. I think we're just keeping it as it is. love to go first. Yikes. So we've got Lava Dart if they've got like one of their hierarchs. But we've only got one threat. I think I have to keep, but it's really not exciting. They mulliganed, which helps. Like, I could Lava Dart on one, so that way on turn 2 I could sacrifice a mountain to guarantee my Stormwing on 2. I'm not in love with it, but it might be the play that I have to make. I guess I'll shock a Steam Vents to do it. Oh, wow. Well, that makes me not want to sacrifice a land, huh? It's also going to make it a lot harder to cast Stormwing, but it is what it is. So really hoping for no 2-mana creature here, because if I can Blood Moon onto an empty board, feels like it's going to be a lot harder for my opponent to do something about it. But they gotta have something, right? Like a Kavu, probably. Yeah. I mean, this is going to just become a 2/2, right? Because this will become a mountain. And then I can Sealifire it, right? Is that how that works? No. Yeah, it's a 1/1, because they have only mountains. Sick. Alright. Oh my god, that was nutty. So now we get to make blue-red for our Stormwing. And scry. Well, we can't cast Serum Visions. Probably should just top a Lightning Bolt, considering it kills just about everything. No, let's save the spells for prowess triggers. Yep, 5-color deck, punished by Blood Moon. Not much has changed. So, mutagenic growth. They're not just dead here, right? We can... So this is... Yeah, let's just go to attack. I think they might just be dead. Math time. So, we get to do 5 damage, 7 damage directly to them. That puts them to 11. 3 prowess triggers, plus that's 10. They go to 1. Right? So it's 7... No, wait. So it's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. But it's 4 spells. So they're just dead. Bam. Jeez. burst damage. Alright, so we finished out another pretty satisfactory league. So I'll do a quick deck tech / summary for purposes of the recording, and then I'll go ahead and wrap it up. So, all in all, this deck feels real powerful. And I mean, so the experiment today was evaluating the difference between Soulscar Mage and Dragon's Mage Channeler. And honestly, I'm not sure which is better. I think after this league, I can not confidently say, but I think reasonably say that Bobble really isn't that much of a requirement in terms of turning on Delirium, as long as you're playing Serum Visions over Opt, because there aren't that many sorceries. It's literally just Expressive Iteration as a sorcery if you're not playing Serum Visions. So with Serum Visions, I think you don't really need the Bobbles, and without the Bobbles, you have more room for spells to power up all of your other threats. So I think it's probably just completely fine, if not correct, to not play the Bobble while playing the Channeler. But again, I don't know which is better between Soulscar and the Channeler. Soulscar is probably better in formats saturated with things like Death Shadow and Tarmogoyf, where you can use your burn spells to shrink the big stuff. But I mean, that might not even be the case, because like Channeler can also just fly over those kinds of things anyway, assuming your Delirium's turned on. So not sure which is better. But I think Channeler, I'm liking Channeler more because while they have a similar effect in terms of getting damage through, Channeler also does some filtering, which is pretty nice. So I'm kind of favoring Channeler at the moment, so maybe I should pick 4 up in paper. The card just seems very cool and very good. Murktide Regent has continued to felt very good. I think 2 is probably a very solid number, because like you don't really want these getting clunked up in your hand. But a lot of the time, just having another threat like Stormwing Entity and then it doesn't get fatal pushed, it feels very powerful. And this thing is quite chunky. So like removing this seems very difficult. Like I literally brought in Vapor Snag to deal with my opponent's copies of Murktide Regent. So I mean, I respect this card. This card's the real deal, I think. And then other than that, it's just a pretty stock prowess list. So not much to say that hasn't already been said by people who are better at this deck than I am. So I'm not going to say anything else other than it's felt very good. I think Channeler's fine, probably doesn't need Bobble. And I think Murktide Regent is also a really cool include. And then out of the board, not much to say. Blood Moon still as powerful as ever. Having, I think, 4 answers to artifacts has felt just about fine. The Spell Pierces have been fairly acceptable. The Vapor Snag has felt really good. I guess the only thing I'm still unsure of are the Soul Guide Lanterns. I mentioned in the last recording, which was filmed right before this one, that I'm not certain that the Graveyard Hate is really a necessity. Because against the decks that are like dedicated graveyard decks, things like Dredge, for example, a lot of the times we're hoping to just power through or over them. So in that sense, I'm not really sure that Graveyard Hate is required. It might just be a necessary evil, though, if the Cascade into Living End deck remains popular. Because this is obviously great versus that. But honestly, I'm not certain that Soul Guide Lantern even needs to be here. We played a Mirror early in this league, or they were playing not necessarily Mirror. They were playing more of a Delver strategy with Thought Scour and actual Delver of Secrets, where they brought in the Soul Guide Lanterns. They just did not do much against us. That said, I don't think it's good against this deck. It's good for like preemptively answering Murktide Regent. But if you're preemptively answering Murktide Regent, you're still minus a card on a trying to fight a card that like the opponent might not even have, and then all the other threats are still just great at killing them too. So I'm not super certain about the Soul Guide Lantern, but everything else has felt very reasonable. And yeah, I like the deck a lot. So that's going to be it for this recording. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching up to this point. Remember to like and subscribe for more awesome content like this, or at least I hope it's awesome. So yeah, I hope you have a good one, and until next time, have a good one.